Next up, it is Minimax Race 1 here on Sunday. And let's have a look at the grid ahead of what promises to be another exciting 9-minute plus additional lap race. On pole position, representing RS competition, is the 136 of Leandro Fischer. Jonas Ungrada from Nice Racing in the 158 lines up alongside on the front row. Then it's the 111 of Montego Maassen, also from Nice Racing, with Schollenberger Racing's David Jehook in the 121 alongside on row 2. David Schnell from Kachmi.de in the 112 has Kachport Klim's Miko Mikov in the 102 alongside for row number 3. Austin Lee, yesterday's day result winner, starts from 7th on the 107 and will have Tom Muhler in the 122 alongside. Moritz Volber in the 115 and Mika Trapp on the 118 rounds out the top 10. Hugo Gürtel in the 174 and Adrien Röhr from Kachport Klim in the 103 complete the grid. 6 rows, 12 competitors with 9 minutes on the clock set to count down the minute the red lights go out on the start phase. So we'll be down to Leandro Fischer and Jonas Ungrada to control the pace on the rolling start as they get themselves ready. Some drivers will have different ways of getting themselves mentally prepared for the start phase. Some will weave from left to right, possibly to help generate a little bit of extra temperature, but a fraction through the tyres, and also which will help the overall grip and the purchase that these drivers will have on their Mojo Racing tyres. They come over the crest, which then leads them into turns 13 and 14. So the red lights ignited on the starting gantry as the drivers now make their way at a slow crawl through turn 13. They now exit the final corner. Through into the tram lines we go. Revs rise on the Rotax engines, lights are out, clean start, and we are off and away. Great start from Leandro Fischer to take the lead going into turn 3, quickly followed by Montego Maassen. And Montego Maassen was looking quickly up the inside as it's all for themselves. Some clattering into themselves. It's 3 wide coming out of turn 4. Very, very difficult to see who might have come out on top on that one. And one of the drivers that looks to have made some good improvements there was Austin Lee. He's jumped up from 7th to 5th position in the early foray, but now Montego Maassen quickly on the back tyres of Leandro Fischer and is being followed by the 158 Jonas Ungrada. So Montego Maassen having a great start, getting past the 158 on the start phase here. David Jehook rounds out the top 4, followed by Austin Lee. Miko Mikov, and then looks like David Schnell completes the top 7 positions as we come round the final corner. Fischer has got Maassen in the tow. Lap 1 completed. 75,000 split the top 2 as they cross the start-finish line, and now Maassen looking to try and get past, but Fischer puts on the defence going into turn number 4. The entire field on that lap alone, we've had someone have major dramas coming out of turn 4, has bogged down. Let's see if the driver gets back up to full racing speed. I'll just catch the number. That is the 115 of Moritz Volber, who is running in 10th position, and now drops to the back part of the field as a result and is a long way off. Looks to be, that is the 103 of Adrien Röhr, who rounds out the top 11 positions. As Tom Muhler gets a bit close to David Schnell in the 112, going through into the braking zone for turn 12 as they come round to complete another lap. 7 minutes and 12 seconds to go, plus 1 additional lap of this circuit here at Wackersdorf. So the drivers now filtering their way through turn 3. Now the run to turn 4. Who's going to outbrake who? Tom Muhler's trying to go up the inside of David Schnell going into turn 4, but has to lift off the brakes at the last moment possible to not have an incident. But then David Schnell goes up the inside of the 102 of Miko Mikov to now take 6th place as they now hurtle their way through turn 7, 8 into 9. Into the left out of the chicane they come through 10. Montego Maassen has got a real good run out of the corner. He's trying to go for the lead up the inside of Leandro Fischer in the 136. Makes the move. Fischer tries to counter-attack, but then gets compromised coming out of the corner, and up the inside of him goes Jonas Ungrada. So Ungrada now up into 2nd place on the 158. This looks to be a change a little bit further back down the order. Looks like Hugo Götzel has just been passed by Tom Muhler. So we'll just keep, well, that's Mikko Mikov, my apologies there. Mikko Mikov gets passed by Tom Muhler, but then Mikov tries to respond going into turn 4. Can't get the braking done right, as now Montego Masson nearly loses a position to David Sheruk from Schollenberger Racing, who now gets passed by Austin Lee, and Tom Muhler tries to go side by side with the driver going through the exit of turn number 7, but the 122 has to slot back into position. So the drivers now still at this Herculean pace they're putting in, as now David Schnell retakes the position from Tom Muhler. Up into 6th place goes the 112 as up the inside. Oh, big moment there for Mika Tapp, who locks up the rear brakes, trying to go up the inside of Hugo Götzel into turn 12, but he manages to catch it. And the good thing was it pointed him around the track the right way. But in many respects, it's still going to be an all-out dogfight at the front of the field, and that's let alone the top 3 or even the top 5 as Leandro Fischer now goes up the inside of Jonas Ungenada through into turn 4. The pair nearly side by side through turn 5. Masson, Austin Lee, as now Ungenada retakes the lead through turn 6. Leandro Fischer powers through round the outside. Oh, clatters into the curbs as Jonas Ungenada. Montego Masson nearly hit the rear bumper of the 158 in the process, but they still made it through. Austin Lee now got a good run of pace coming through the chicane, and now he's going to go towards the outside of turn number 11 to get the switch back through. It's not going to work on the 111 point yet. However, it's still very much nip and tuck between those behind Jonas Ungenada, as Leandro Fischer has now got a little bit of bit of daylight between himself and Jonas Ungenada. David Sheruk trying to go side by side with Austin Lee over the start finish line, can't do it, but he gets a good run of momentum through turn 3. Austin Lee also in the hunt for 3rd place and is sending it up the inside of Montego Masson. David Sheruk tries to go through, and it's nearly 3 abreast with Mikko Mikov trying to join the party as well. Hugo Götzel not too far adrift. So these drivers absolutely going for it like no tomorrow. We've still got 4 minutes of this race, plus an additional lap remaining. So Fischer leads, got Ungenada, then Lee, then Masson, and the 111 running out the top 4. Sheruk runs out the top 5 ahead of David Schnell. Hugo Götzel now ahead of Mikko Mikov going into turn 12, as it's a 3-way scrap between the 3 behind, and one of them is the 115 I've just spotted of Moritz Wolber. The other one will be Mika Tapp and then Adrien Ver, as the leaders come into turn number 3. Just under 3.5 minutes still to go. As Austin Lee now goes up the inside of Jonas Ungenada in the 107, and so does Montego Masson, but Masson hung out a little bit to dry, as now Ungenada tries to go up the inside of Lee through turn 6. Lee runs wide through into 7. Montego Masson goes round the outside of Austin Lee through turn 7 itself. So Lee now down from what would have been 2nd position, now back down to 4th he goes. So 3 minutes plus an additional lap still remaining, as Fischer has got a lot of daylight between himself and Jonas Ungenada in 2nd position. The gap last time around was around 2.5 tenths, but as everything kicked off behind the number 136 from Irish competition, he's now been able to profit. As a result, coming through the final corner comes the leader. Lap number 7 in the books. 2.5 minutes still remaining, plus an additional lap. David Sheruk trying to close on Austin Lee, and behind him has got Hugo Götzel, Mikko Mikov and Moritz Wolber, it looks like. As Hugo Götzel, I think, might have just made the move on Mikko Mikov, apparently, or not the case. Let's just see as they come through turn 6. Well, that is the case, because Hugo Götzel and David Schnell are ahead of Mikko Mikov. So Ungenada coming under pressure from Montego Masson in the dying stages of the race. Just over 2 minutes to go. As Masson now goes up the inside of Ungenada through turn 11. Up into 2nd position goes the number 111, and Austin Lee not too far away from this now, and this could give him the opportunity he needs to get past the pair of them and get it back up into 2nd place, which he would have had he not run wide a little bit earlier in the race. It's all about controlling your strategy, not giving the other drivers an opportunity to sense what you might be doing, and they'll be anticipating so much going on in this race. They've got to think about braking inputs and everything, as Ungenada now gets passed by Austin Lee. But then David Sheruk goes round the outside of Austin Lee through turn 5, and that has allowed the 174 of Hugo Götzel to now have another opportunity and has got past now we've just had a penalty issued, and that's a 5-second penalty for Hugo Gütel, who's rounding out the top 6 positions at the minute. Make that the top 5 as he's now ahead of David Schnell, so he gets a 5-second penalty with regards to a collision, an avoidable collision thereof. Fischer at the moment did have a 1.35 second gap lead at the moment over Montego Masson as we now go on to lap number 9. That gap has now kept stationary at around about 1.35 seconds. Tom Muhler now has set the fastest lap of the race, but he's now down in 11th position and is trying to fight back from what's been a difficult weekend so far for the 122. Just under 30 seconds remain of the race, plus 1 lap. As everyone's scrabbling for position, going through the turn 9-10 chicane. Hugo Gütel trying to go up the inside of Austin Lee, who in turn goes up the inside of Jonas Ungerada to now retake 3rd position. As Ungerada goes towards the that's Sharuk that he's just passed. So as a result of that, Austin Lee now has 3rd position. So last lap board will now be shown to Leandro Fischer. He has a lead over Montego Masson, which is now extended to nearly 1.5 seconds as we head onto the final lap as Fischer goes through turn 4 for the final time. As now Hugo Gütel has tried to get past David Sharuk, but Sharuk powers past the 174 on the run down to turn number 5. Goes up the inside. Oh, that's a bit of a nasty move there by Jonas Ungerada, who's gone 3 abreast going through the entrance into turn number 7. As Hugo Gütel trying to get past David Sharuk and looks to get towards the inside first of turn number 11, makes the move through. Austin Lee trying to close onto Montego Masson as it's really getting a bit spicy, a bit further down the order between Jonas Ungerada, Mikko Mikov and David Schnell. As Mikko Mikov gets compromised coming out of turn 12, but winning the race is Leandro Fischer from RS Competition. Montego Masson takes 2nd. Austin Lee, if he'd had another lap, he would have taken 2nd, but ends up taking 3rd place. 4th goes to Hugo Gütel, but obviously will have a 5-second post-race penalty that will drop him considerably down the order. So David Sharuk will take 4th ahead of Jonas Ungerada, David Schnell, Mikko Mikov, Mika Trapp, Tom Muhler, Moritz Volber and Adrien Rohr all make it to the finish line after 11 laps of racing. But Leandro Fischer takes the first win here on Sunday.